Visiting the Datai Langkawi is kind of like seeing a mythical creature in real life. You've heard about it, you've imagined what it could look like, but you never imagined that it actually existed. There are so many reasons to love the Datai, and I'm going to get into all of them in this full resort tour. Let me welcome any of you that might be new to the channel. My name is Kevin. I'm here to give you a self-funded and honest look at some of the best, and some of the not so best, airlines and hotels in the world, which I've been bringing to you full-time for the past 4 years. Check out my 400 videos, scan the QR code or click the link in the description to learn more about how I do things. This unicorn of a resort tour begins now. As we drive to the Datai on the northwest shore of Langkawi, I want to preface this review with just two things. First of all, you already saw the score, right? A perfect 100 out of 100. This is my 400th video, and only my 6th ever perfect score. I'll explain why I think the Datai deserves this, but I just need to point out that Langkawi, this small island off the western coast of Malaysia in the Andaman Sea, now holds 1/3 of my perfect scores, since just last month, I awarded the Ritz-Carlton Langkawi a perfect score as well. If that's not an indication that this island is doing something right, I don't know what is. The second thing that I really just want to point out here is the setting. The best way I can do this is to show you the Google Earth image of 8 of my favorite resorts in Southeast Asia. These are 8 resorts that I love, so there is nothing that I'm criticizing in any of them. Look at the images. Does anything stand out to you? Most likely not. Now let's look at the image of the Datai. Anything different? How about now? One of the most impressive and frankly extraordinary things about the Datai is that it is not a beach resort. It is a rainforest resort that happens to be on a beach. The majority of the villas, no, all of the villas actually, are within this dense canopy here. The Datai is named for its namesake bay, and some believe the word comes from the combination of dai and tai, roughly meaning the possibility to be free. It's fitting. Originally opened in 1993, the Datai was Langkawi's, some would say Malaysia's, first luxury resort, and it put Langkawi on the map. Entering the reception area, guests are greeted with what is surely the best service on the island, along with 2 150-year-old solid teak horses, which were found in what sounds like quite the flea market in Mumbai. Designed by famed architect Carey Hill, with design support from Didier Lefort, the main building we see here was built 40 meters above sea level and set back 300 meters from the beach, with the intention of both preserving the coastline and immersing guests in this 10-million-year-old rainforest. Beyond the water feature, we have the lobby lounge with a sunken bar where your check-in experience will take place. This is the third resort that I'm presenting on the island. The first two both specifically call out the fact that they're designed to be kampongs, or traditional villages. The Datai, in its endless and thoughtful literature, doesn't mention any such fact, but in reality, it's the most authentically laid out of them all, truly built within the rainforest. The resort closed for a year from September of 2017 for a full refurbishment of all rooms and areas, led by one of the original designers, Didier Lefort himself, bringing the property and its 121 rooms and villas into the modern age, with a design language that lands somewhere between a secluded mountain lodge and a traditional Malay community. As we have a look around and head down one level to the pool, let me explain about the mythical creature that exists within the Datai: sustainability. I hope this doesn't offend anyone, it's not meant to, but the fact of the matter is, the vast majority, no, all but a very select few, of resorts and hotels who speak about sustainability initiatives are serving up some ultra-luxurious BS with a glass straw. This is not to say that there are not helpful, planet-friendly initiatives that each and every business in the industry can take, but the ones that frame themselves as eco-resorts are typically just trying to tell you that their AC doesn't work too well and you're not going to get your sheets changed every day. Either way though, whether you agree with me or not, the Datai stands out from the pack in ways that I'd never seen before. From their food programs, to nature reserves, to on-site permaculture gardens, to on-site water plants, repurposing and replanting with intent, I could never cover the full breadth of their initiatives in a 30-minute video. Case in point, this is their traditional Thai restaurant over here, open for dinner, the Pavilion. The restaurant is built on 30-meter stilts, which were crafted from the carawing trees which were needed to be cut down in order to build the head house here. They serve food from their own garden. In a literal sense, they try to cover their bases from top to bottom. If you're interested to read more about this, I'd invite you to go to their website, the Datai Pledge, where they release an incredibly detailed yearly impact report, which they began doing in 2018. They focus on 4 pillars: regenerating the environment and community through sustainable operations, conserving marine life with sustainable fishing, regenerating the rainforest around them, and finally, educating the next generation through environmental programs. The Datai is essentially a non-corporate, fully immersive, 6 senses on steroids, but the good kind of steroids, as in, the Datai is not going to ask you to find your own eggs. Hand on heart, resort stays like this truly would not be possible without your support on Patreon. Hotel videos and flight videos simply earn money in very different ways on YouTube. So if you appreciate these kinds of unsponsored videos, please consider checking out my Patreon page. You can also help the channel continue to grow by liking this video and subscribing to the channel, or joining my YouTube channel memberships. Whatever you do though, thanks for doing it. From the pool area and head house, we head down 278 steps made from local chert and shale, and head to the Butterfly Walk. There is, of course, also buggy service throughout the property, which you're wise to use because in addition to these stairs, there are some steep freaking hills here. Before we get any further though, let's look at where we are. Langkawi is a 99-island archipelago north of Penang and south of Phuket. We're on the largest of the islands in the far northwest of it. If you enjoy rainforest and jungle settings, this is the part of the island you really want to be in. It is truly unspoiled and is as lush and thick as you can imagine. It's rare to find such a dense, beautiful setting like this that is not 6 flights and 12 hours away from the closest civilization. The butterfly walk connects the base of the head house stairs with the beach club, passing through the rainforest and over a stream, with the spa located just in the middle of it. The Datai is an independent hotel, and that makes it all the more impressive in my opinion. In many regards, frankly, but especially when it comes to service. It is pure white glove service, but without even the slightest hint of pretense. You'll find yourself having natural, unscripted conversations with every single member of staff that you encounter, from buggy drivers to the front office staff to the servers and more. But they're also perceptive, so if that's not your thing, that's not going to happen. That service, though, is backed up with what just turned out to be really thoughtful and anticipatory design. And here we are, coming to the beach area, which has a family pool along with a kids pool tucked away in the corner. In front of the pool is the beach bar, and to the side is the beach club, which serve up lunch and dinner daily. This clip was filmed early in the morning, and I found it especially impressive how well set up and free of debris everything was, because overnight we had truly and wonderfully torrential downpours, which I'd imagine had this entire place littered with leaves and foliage. High tide and low tide are quite the extremes here. This being high tide, and this being low. On the side, there's a fitness center, and on the opposite side of the beach, there's also an eco center where you can arrange nature walks, talks, and the like. I'd suggest you check out their website for details. There's honestly just too much to include in the video. Okay, now let's go ahead to my room. I hesitantly booked a quote-unquote room category assigned at check-in rate through Agoda, since it was significantly cheaper than anywhere else. And so when I checked in, I was shocked and delighted that they'd allocated me a villa. Some of the villas are more private than others. If you're booking one of them outright, I would suggest specifically asking not to be directly next to the stone bridge. They'll know what you mean. Buggies go over this bridge all day, and while the buggies themselves are near silent, that cobblestony bridge each time something drives over it is not silent. As far as the overall setting goes, I mean honestly, I couldn't imagine my villa being better. It's a rare occasion on my part to be working a 12-hour day editing these videos, watching the video, and actually being calmed down by it. The villas and the rooms share the same design language, the rooms being in the wings near the head house, and they really don't leave you wanting for anything. The interiors are as warm as they are fresh, and things are just absolutely spotless. I'll put up the extra bits as we look around. You all know this, but I can't tell you how often light-colored fabrics like this just look worn after a few years. And it's not even necessarily because they're dirty, but you can just tell. There is a pride in the level of upkeep and cleanliness here. The room has 2 desks, almost as if I designed it myself. You'll notice that throughout the room there is an impressive amount of literature about everything from their food programs, their own magazine, an activities brochure, spa menu, and the hallmark of it all, their wooden-bound impact report. And I would just note that everything was current. It's not like these were yearly things. All of it, besides the yearly impact report, was put out on a weekly or a monthly basis. One detail I particularly loved were the wooden shutters, which could cover every little window within the villa for absolute privacy. Stunning is not a word I often use to describe minibar setups, but this one was just, it felt special and bespoke. The bathroom was equally beautiful. I'm not saying they should join any hotel group. They're doing just fine on their own. But this place, I think, could fit in perfectly as a high-end Alila or like part of an Unbound collection. The only places in the room which were ever so slightly below the standard that they set for themselves were the small rooms for the shower and the toilet. This is high-end nitpicking, but when you create an absolutely flawless and beautiful accommodation with natural materials, lining these two rooms with fake marble tile just sticks out like a sore thumb. The incredible bathrobes and clever flip-flops, though, made up for that cheap tile. Last up, we have the wonderful covered balcony where I sat for hours at night, and by sat I might mean fell asleep, listening to the beautiful rain. Cameras do not allow for great depth perception, so it's near impossible for me to just tell you how steep some of the switchbacks are here, so rather, just follow me for 20 seconds. Here, you can see my villa. Let's walk for a little bit. And there's my villa up there. Like 20 seconds of baby steps, and you're all the way down here. Okay, dinner time. You have 4 choices for dinner. The dining room, which is next to the main pool, we'll see that for breakfast. The other two restaurants that I showed you already, or the Gulai house, which is especially secluded and away from all of the villas. Serving up Malaysian food, the structure is open air and built in the style of a traditional kampong stilt house with matching decor. This meal was incredible. I was brought some reading materials on the dining program. And let me just say this as an aside, the amount of literature that they write about themselves, I would generally be the first one to look at all of it and think, oh god, they are full of themselves. But it's really not. They just want you to be immersed in the experience, and this is one way of them doing it. For starters, I had the Kerabu Mempalam Ikan Renggup, young mango salad with local greens and spices served with crispy red snapper. The salad itself could have used a little bit more zing, but it was delicious. That red snapper, though, was the star of the show. So delicate and perfectly spiced. 8.7 out of 10. For my main, the opposite of delicate, I had the, deep breath, signature Itik Serati Gulai Kawa Jundur Kampung traditional Kedahan duck curry with fresh winter melon. Winter melon being one of the world's most underrated ingredients in my opinion. That was an incredible curry. It was served with the rice of the day, which was as colorful as it was flavorful. That bowl was scraped clean, 9.6 out of 10. For dessert, glutinous rice flour with grated young coconut, sweet corn, coconut ice cream, and crispy coconut crackers. Loved this. It was almost a savory dessert on the bottom, and the balance with the ice cream was perfect, 9.4 out of 10. After that, I had a walk around and headed to the lounge for a drink overlooking the pool. Their list of signature cocktails were all crafted with local ingredients in mind. If you'd believe me, this is morning. Time to head to breakfast. This is the dining room. On offer was a full buffet along with a supplemental a la carte menu. Overall, I would say the breakfast is as good as it gets without knocking my socks off, which translates to a strong 8. I think I've said it all, so I'll just leave you with what I mentioned to the front office supervisor when I was checking out. This is the first independent, sustainability-focused luxury resort that I've ever been to who walked the walk and talked the talk. As you know, being environmentally friendly is a broad spectrum. Eliminating single-use plastics from your hotel and nothing else, hey, it does do something and I'm not knocking it in the slightest. But to find a resort of this caliber, which has been here for 30 years, that is truly a part of the rainforest is simply uplifting. On the other side of that, I know there are plenty of people that simply don't feel the need to engage with these things on vacation, and you need to do what makes you happy. But for that guest as well, it will simply be a beautiful vacation here. They have found the balance. Why? Why do I think at least? I think it's because they're doing all of this for the right reasons. So I think to them, it doesn't really matter if a guest appreciates every minutia or not. They know why they're doing it. They know the impact they can have. It's not for show. Speaking of Langkawi in broader terms, could I argue that the Ritz-Carlton is more luxurious? Has service nearly as good? Has food which is as good? Yes, yes, and yes. And so I'd say, if you visit Langkawi, you just need to visit both. In a slightly different way from the Ritz-Carlton, this is also what 100 out of 100 looks like. So I truly do hope that you enjoyed this trip report today. If you did, please be sure to click that like button and subscribe with notifications on so you don't miss out on my twice weekly videos. I'll see you next time on Iberia Express from Marrakech. As always, thanks for watching until the end.